Go for it.
A lot of you have been asking where we've been for the last game, and then obviously there's been another game. So we decided to bless you all and give you the analysis of two L's at the cost of just one. Welcome back again to another episode of Not That Important Podcast. Hux, thoughts, feelings, emotions.
Oh, what are we gonna say today, man? I know there's a lot of people listening for various different reasons. Some people मजा लेने के लिए आए हैं. Some people are here to share our pain right now after what we've seen and what we've witnessed. It hasn't been fun for any Pakistan fan. It's been a nightmare week, starting with that Australia game, and then what we just saw against Afghanistan was, I mean, it can only be described as shambolic. I don't think there's any other way to sum it up. 280 runs on the board. Pakistan's never not been able to defend a score of 275 plus in World Cup history, and you go and just hand the game to them. Afghanistan were able to ace that chase because Pakistan did not show any intensity in the field. They were lethargic. They were going through the motions. Not one player stepped up.
There's no cohesion.
Nothing went right.
There's no
Yeah, no
unity.
cohesion.
There's no, besides the individual who comes in and bowls the odd good over, there's no collective fight. All of those cliches and all of those intangible things are completely missing, added to the fact that our bowling looks toothless anyways. Our fielding, obviously, though, they come and they steal the show. If the batters aren't doing well, if the bowlers aren't doing well, they're not one to be upstaged, this fielding unit of Pakistan. So they obviously gifted Afghanistan, if we're being nice, 15 runs. If we're being nice,
Forget the runs, forget the boundaries that they let go, forget the fielding effort. If you come in, you're defending 280 as a Pakistani side that traditionally is able to defend those scores easily, and you come in with that sort of attitude within the first power play where you're misfielding, you're giving overthrows. No one seems to be like focused, as if यहाँ किसी को पता नहीं है कि वर्ल्ड कप का मैच चल रहा है. लग रहा है कि गली के प्लेयर्स उठा के आए हुए हैं. Like in terms of the intensity, right? You
वही
have
बात
to
है.
be switched on at all moments. Everyone is either in their own heads worrying about their own performance, which again, individually, for especially for the bowlers, has been below par, is a kind way to put it so far in this World Cup. So, anyways, the bowling attack is low on confidence. And then as for the field, shoulders seem to drop a lot quicker right now. I don't know whether that comes from like the leadership, whether you have to like, be able to put your bad few days in the first and in the last couple of games against India and Australia behind you and really step up. That's a big part of this World Cup, man. 9 matches खेलने आए हैं. यहाँ पांचवा match चल रहा है and you're acting as if like you're already lost, and I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I know we've seen obviously a lot of bad days in the past, but I've never seen a day where like a Pakistani bowling attack is the reason for us being unable to compete with other sides. Obviously, emotions are running high, but I do want to take a moment to praise the Afghanistan side. Like they came in with a clear plan, playing three spinners, playing to their strengths, and playing to Pakistan's weakness. Because I think it's been exposed in the first few games that this side struggles against spin. You give them a Chennai track in which you saw that there's clearly something in there for the spinners, and they came in and executed their plans. Like we couldn't get Nabi away. Rashid Khan might not have picked up wickets, but he bowled really well. And Noor Ahmed, for a youngster, was absolutely excellent, picking up three crucial wickets. And then, even though Pakistan seemed to get through that moment where we had lost a couple of wickets in the middle, and Babar put in a good effort fighting it through, and then Iftikhar and Shadab getting us that 280 score. After that, I don't know. It seemed like there was just one side in that competition in the second innings.
We were outclassed. We deserved to lose. Afghanistan played excellently. They thought out of the box. They thought attackingly. They thought innovatively. And when the time came for them to bat, they were surgical. They were surgical with the red chase. And it was incredible to see. We were waiting for the collapse, and the collapse never came. Now that that's out of the way, Pakistan is Pakistan's playing a little bit. I don't like using this word right now, and it's not results oriented, but they're playing disgracefully as a team right now. There's no doubt about that. There's no cohesion at all. People are gonna say that, oh, Pakistan might have been way short. Yeah, maybe we were a little bit short, but again, 280 against that bowling attack, I thought was a good
I don't
effort.
think anyone is saying that, to be honest. I think everyone saw 280
Some
and thought
people
Pakistan
are.
was going to win this game.
Yeah, yeah. It's some people are saying that Pakistan could have gotten more given the pitch, but Again, I think the pitch would still had a lot in it for spin bowlers. The difference is that look at the attack we were facing and look at the attack they were facing. They were facing the much easier attack on the day, without a shadow of a doubt. Pakistan spinner, anytime that one of them looked to build a little bit of pressure, they invariably get let down by one of their fielders. This happened to Sama Mir and it happened to Shadab Khan. There's very few moments where Pakistan felt they were in that game bowling a little bit when the reverse came, and then that brings other questions again of Babur's tactics of his captaincy. You were mentioning that Shaheen was almost pleading with Babur for something which he didn't get. Nobody seems to be on the same page at all, whether it's with something like the reviews, with field placements, with bowling changes. This team looks completely discombobulated right now. When a team is good, they're moving as a unit, and you see that, and that's the exact opposite of what you're seeing with Pakistan right now, which is more than the loss. Again, more than the loss, the most concerning thing is that there seems to be no type of cohesion within the team right now.
Well, you put 280 on the board, and I'm expecting them to come out saying, okay, we've got this game, but in the bag, but in a good way. You come out, okay, we're going to get 10 wickets, we're going to bowl them out. I don't know how they were expecting to win this game. What was the plan? Like, were
They
you
were
just expecting
expecting,
to go through the
yeah,
motions and
oh, that's
Afghanistan
what
is
it
going to hand
was.
you the game? This is
They
a World
didn't,
Cup, and
they didn't hand
we've
it to you.
we've seen Afghanistan have beaten England. We've seen that fine. They struggled when chasing in the past, but like you have to make or create that pressure. You have to bowl dot balls. You have to bowl good deliveries. And ek to har bowler. How are you expecting to build pressure like that?
No pressure, 'cause we
Pacers,
haven't
we
seen any type
yeah,
of inventive captaincy. Both of those guys are right-handers. Maybe you could have avoided Harshrav bowling within the power play. Take a chance. South Shakil, give him an over or two, right? He's a part-timer, but sometimes this is, and you see the best teams do things like this. They try things slightly out of the box. If they have a part-timer who can bowl and maybe has a little bit of a matchup advantage, you try that. Let's go back a little bit even more. We've seen Haris Rauf bowl within the power play 3 or 4 games in a row with absolutely no reward. Now that guy's a match winner, but what you're doing is you're killing his confidence as well. You need to see what you can do. When you had Nawaz in the team, you refused to bowl him at all in the power play, which a lot of teams would have done. You see New Zealand use Santner in the power play. There's a few things that I just see repeated continuously, and it goes back to that same thing that insanity by definition is trying the same thing again and again, expecting different results,
exactly,
which is right.
100%. And you know when you have a really good bowling attack and a bowling attack that's on form and that's on fire that Pakistan has had at times in the past, the captaincy can go under the radar. But especially in a moment when your bowling attack is down, like Babar is getting exposed here. Like his captaincy has not been up to the mark. We saw it in the Australia game. Shaheen bowled a maiden and he takes him off. I don't know what this obsession is with jo ghar ka likha hua plan hota hai. Like he's played enough cricket. If we and fans and people who don't have that much knowledge of cricket can watch from home and see what's happening, like why can't he? Again, he takes him off, then we get battered to all parts of the ground because Warner and Mitch Marsh just take the game to the rest of our bowlers, and he doesn't bring Shaheen back until after the 30th over, and that's when the fight back begins. So we saw that in that game as well, and then here in the Afghanistan game again. The new batsman comes in, we get a wicket finally after a long time, long off his back, easy singles, batsman gets in, gets off the mark, like the pressure that you build on a new batsman coming in. And as a batsman, you should know what you don't want when you're just walking to the wicket. And it's just infuriating, like you said, to do the same things again and again and expect a different result.
And that's the thing that pisses me off, Hux, because look, there's some decisions where even as Babur's biggest supporter, I'm not going to sit there with a straight face and say that I think they were correct. Again, bowling the extra over of the spinner, the fact that Osama Mir was given one of the last 5 overs there, the game was probably gone by that point. But I don't understand. You took all of these risks with the spinners bowling the first three of that last 10 over phase to have seven straight from your fast bowlers, and in the end, you don't bowl out Hassan Ali till the very end. You would have cut one of your fast bowlers overs. So there's that aspect of it. And then there's the other aspect of, man, you want a captain who backs their players under pressure continuously. In this game and in the previous game against Australia, we saw it if they brought on, and if they do the job that you wanted, for the most part, he didn't eat any koi kharab boundary nahi khai usne. Whatever boundaries he got in those 2 games because the batters batted well, but he came in and he bowled a little bit of those dot balls. So then you could argue that if he should have bowled those overs in the Australia game, he should have bowled them out right there. But Babar is doing the attacking thing in some instances and bringing an Osama Mir back or a Shadab back. He's putting the ball in their hands, saying, if he's given us two containing overs here, you guys come in and please take a wicket for me. But they're not being backed up. Babar's not being backed up by the bowlers. The bowlers not being backed up by the fielders. So again, it's a crap situation to be in. But right now, whatever he's trying is just not working. And he has the opposite of the Midas touch right now.
I mean, that's all true, but like you take that moment, right? The ball starts reversing. Something seems to be happening, even though Pakistan have done nothing this entire innings to give you any evidence that they're going to come back into this game. But suddenly, like the ball starts to shape a little bit with reverse. The commentators are getting excited now. Okay, Pakistan need to bowl out their fast bowlers right now. I don't know what this obsession is with being worried about the last overs of a game.
Bro,
And
they
when you're
need to
losing
forget out of
anyways,
that last over. That MCG match again. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but you need to
bro,
leave
if
that
if
damn over, man. That over happened.
if
That what
no,
else do
if
you
you're
think it
still in that
is?
mindset of that one game,
What
bro,
do you?
come
But
on,
what else
like
do you think it
that's
is?
I honestly I can't name it. So maybe you might be right that maybe they're living in the past and just worrying about that one game. But bro, come on, you've lost the game anyways. Fine, I get it if it's like a close match where there's both sides in it, where the other team is like 4 wickets down, they need 7 runs per over, they need 6 runs per over, they're 2 wickets down, they have a close to 100 run partnership. What's
Straight
the
up,
risk there?
straight
You're
up.
already losing the game. Why are you scared?
You
And then yeah, he
gambled.
decides to bring on the spinners who anyways are garbage. Like they can't land the ball in one place. I know we spoke so much about Shadab not being able to consistently land the ball, but Osama Mir isn't really any better. Like from what we've seen in the
You got 2 for 8 runs out of them. एक एंड से तो fast bowler लगा लो. You need to ration one more over, right? With 7 overs of pace. Like now you can actually attack from
bro.
both ends. That was the moment, that little
ये
right
ring
there
पता नहीं
leading
क्या
into
like
that, and those next few overs were the moment.
I don't know if it's a captain issue. I don't know if it's a wider issue, but other teams are coming into this World Cup with great field placements. They have plans to get individuals out. You can tell that they have come in to play a World Cup. And we, on the other hand, are just going through the motions, expecting our bowlers to produce brilliant results and just get batsmen out on default. Like some of the field placements are also like mind boggling.
The problem is that nothing is going right now. Nothing is going right. You could question the captaincy, but the bowlers aren't stepping up. The bowlers try to land 2 balls in the same area. The fielders are letting boundaries through, overthrows, people missing their backing up assignments, not diving on the ground. Like this is pure
Not
at that point, whether it's because of the fact that you're demoralized or you're pissed off, but this is a terrible thing we've seen in the body language now for the last for the last game, all of the Afghanistan bowling innings, and then some of the other games. Like not until the death did these guys wake up. For the 30 overs in between, they're completely asleep, and they look like they're completely helpless at times.
as a player, like you have to go out there and do all the basics right in terms of fielding, in terms of setting the intensity, in terms of backing up your fellow players to be able to change this hole that you've dug for yourself or to get out of it essentially. But I think like, even at the end of the game, from Babar's press conference, he seemed obviously you've lost a game, you will be down, but it seemed like there was no fighting spirit in him right now that I'm going to bounce back, and I hope that's not the case. But it doesn't look like there's anything in the tank right now.
I really felt for the guy, man. He watching him up at that presser, and then he called out the effort as well. Again, say what you want about his captaincy, but his guys aren't backing him up. They're not backing him up right now, and and
But खुद
and
भी तो
that's
misfielding हो रही है और
हाँ
like
ठीक
he's
है bro
also part of
ठीक
that,
है
right?
ठीक है that's fine, that's fine. He missed one assignment on the backup in the latter half of the game, but man, like consistently throughout all of these games, I always feel like he's been begging for someone to take the mantle and inspire the team. I'm talking about within the field itself. I'm not talking about batting right now. And you've seen Shaheen stick his hand up with the ball, but there's been no brilliance in the field. There hasn't been an outstanding run out. There hasn't been a bit of a padda with another batter just to show that it can mean something to you. There hasn't been an outstanding catch. These things matter. And then you look at it, bro. Like in this situation, I don't know how much pep talks are gonna work. ये सब मतलब कहने वाली बातें होती है. At the end of the day, that doesn't matter until somebody goes and produces brilliance. Last year, Mohammad Haris came in and he changed the complexion of our entire World Cup. Right? I don't know who's gonna come off the bench and do that. Shaheen, the conditions. Poor guy's out of form and he's still amongst the highest wicket takers. He's produced a really, really good spell that pulled the game back for you. versus Australia, but these are not his conditions, and he's easing himself back into form despite how talented he is, mashallah. Like it has to be the captain. Like now, it is the time. He has to step up. You need 100, 150. Like you need one of these types of innings from someone, and Babar Azam is the only guy right now who you can think of. Like it's this everything. The revamp of Pakistan's
But
confidence as a cricket nation has come from his performance. He needs to refine that again and re-inspire the guys who've been with him for these last 4 or 5 years.
that's true. No, I agree. For example, the Australia game was prime example of that, right? That was the game where he needed to accept responsibility and take us over the line. Because regardless of what people have been saying about 368 and Australia have this mental edge over Pakistan, blah blah blah, like that's all bullshit. Like this, we were in the game. We should have won that in the end. All you had to do was keep your head a little bit. Even after Babar got out, if the car was in it, you could see the way he was striking the ball. He had the ability to finish the game. But see out Zampa, man. Use your
Game
brains. Like it's
awareness,
not
man.
rocket
Game
science. He's the one
awareness.
guy who will
Game
be a threat to
awareness.
you.
Bro,
There's
the
none of
guy's
it from
bowled four
anyone.
balls in his over. You've lost the over at that point. Just concede it. The shots that Nawaz played, even the shot that Rizwan played, if the car fine, he sucks against spin. Like his is just because he is inept at that facet of the game, whatever. But the other guys showed such a lack of match awareness. 99 of 69, and that ground with 6 wickets in
And
hand. We were the favorite at that
one more
time.
thing that
And
no one is
and
talking
yes,
about is the fact that
yes, no game
Australia
awareness.
would have had
Exactly.
they were behind the over 8, so they would have had an extra fielder inside the
वही
circle. There would have
चीज
been 4 fielders outside. 10 से बाहर रन आसानी से बन जाते अगर
आसानी से
थोड़ी सी
एक एक
गेम
बंदा
awareness
सेट
थी.
होता अगर
Like with Nawaz, I don't know what he brings to the team, man. Like I say he bowls like some decent overs without conceding too many runs, but I can't call him an all-rounder. Talking about who's on the bench to change the game, they're giving opportunities. Like Abdullah Shafiq, to his credit, has taken it. Osama Mir is given a golden opportunity and he let it slip. Within the first 5 overs, as soon as you've been drafted in, that's when you're supposed to be at your highest concentration. You're supposed to be motivated. He was scared of the ball and he dropped it and he dropped the game and it cost us the game. You can't keep playing like this when Shaheen's the only bowler fighting, right? Everyone has to take responsibility at some point. At the end of the day, bench पे भी कोई ऐसे players नहीं है कि हम suddenly draft in करके World Cup का
bro.
जो dynamic है change कर लेंगे. Like
It just shows where the mindset is, right? Because coming in, dropping that catch, forget drop is not the right word, because to drop a catch, it implies that your hands met the ball at some point, which on that catch just simply didn't happen. So it's not a drop. He straight up missed it. That tells you two things. It tells you either he wasn't ready for the moment mentally, or two, he wasn't ready for the moment mentally because he was thinking about his own bowling on that pitch. When at that point you're a fielder. Either way, it shows that you guys aren't locked in. You guys aren't locked in. And if you're not locked in, I mean, this isn't boys and girls club. Like you're gonna get destroyed, and you should get destroyed if you're not locked in a freaking World Cup. And then you add to that, you think of who can
yeah,
provide inspiration between Osama Mir, Shadab, Nawaz. The one thing you've learned is Shadab has to play as a batter. And the other thing is, if you just look at the bowling, bro, it doesn't matter because in Tino mein se koi aayega, and none of them look like they'll do anything right now with the ball.
is T20.
I don't know what you do, man. I don't know. You drop one of these all rounders and bring in Salman Ali Agha who extends your batting, but because the bowling doesn't seem to be doing anything anyways, do you get Romal into the team? Is it time to get Romal in just to change the dynamic altogether? Just go with four fast bowlers if your spinning is not working. At least he adds some pace, and there's
पर
some
लोगों को ये नहीं पता कि रुमाल कौन है.
Muhammad Wasim Wazir, Wasim Jr., Mr. Romal, King of Waziristan.
The way the spinners are performing, I don't know, maybe 4 paces is the only way to go because those
देखो
guys aren't
देख-
providing anything, right?
Bro, next game, ball lifty with the new ball. Who cares? Who cares? You have Quinton de Kock out there who's a lefty. What is gonna happen? Will Satara like it doesn't matter. If anything, you're saving Haris Rauf for beating for when he comes. It could work. But these things need to be tried. You need to accept that we have not thought out of the box. I love Babar Azam. I defend his captaincy, but there's no denying that he's not thought outside of the box. and you have to think outside of the box when you have limited resources. Kaptan ka yahi to hota hai, bro. Think of the best captains. They've elevated, the level of whatever resources they've had at their hands.
Bro, like his days are numbered as captain. Like, let's be honest here. Unless there's a miracle towards the end of this World Cup, like Babar Azam is not going to be Pakistan captain after this World Cup. And at this point, like you can't really defend or say like that would be a wrong decision because, anyways, not the
The
time or
World
place
Cup's
to
not done
talk
though,
about
bro.
things
We
like
don't we
that.
don't
But
we're not gonna write his eulogy before. We're not gonna do that either. But I know what you're saying, but I think this is a conversation left for after the World Cup because we probably have the same views on it, but this isn't the time. The only thing you can really do is look forward in this competition.
we've spoken mostly about what's happened since this World Cup has started. Do we want to look back at everything that went before it, analyze the planning of this team? Because
No,
if
no,
the spinners
because
aren't up to the mark,
I don't want to because there's no use. Not तुम्हारे पड़ेगा. What you have to discuss is what's happening right now. Because अगर मगर ये सब तो हो गया बेटा अब क्या कर सकते हैं? We need to look forward. The team needs to look forward at what needs to be done
I
in these
agree.
next.
I agree, but if we're looking for answers in terms of like the spinners for something like that, not trying anyone else, not preparing backups for roles, things like that. Like I know we don't play enough one day cricket, so we had to play our first 11 most of the time. But you know,
But
some of
this
these
this
issues are
even
costing us. Like Naseem Shah gets
but
injured, and we have to draft in Hassan Ali, who hasn't played in over a year and a half because you don't have the ready-made replacements within the squad. That obviously exposed a bit of a lack of
but
planning as
even
well, right?
even this Shahan, I don't even this I don't agree with though because like we play such to your point we play such little cricket that you want to have whatever guys you're playing you want to have them put in between your other main guys so you could get a sense of where people will be playing in each position. हमने spinner का backup try नहीं किया. Osama Mir's been playing 2 years. अब तुम कितना नवाज शादाब तो थे तुम्हारे right? Like you prepared Osama Mir for a whole year. He's not performing well. Like बात है Junior को you were back bringing him up for that role. The Hanis played, Hasnan's played. वो अलग बात है कि काफी लोग सांला they got injured at the end. So अगर उस sense से बात करो, I thought you played guys throughout. When they could, they played. They rested Shaheen at times. They rested Naseem at times. It's not like they haven't tried guys. We've been a little bit unlucky in terms of injury, and we've been a little bit unlucky in terms of form. And the rest of it boils down to the environment that's in the team right now, which is terrible. Because it's not like we Osama Mir is the backup guy we prepared, bro. We did play him for the entire year. Up
I agree with that, and I spoke before the World Cup as well that I thought Osama Mir should be in the squad because I thought he provided enough when he had played. Like, in yeah, not really been impressed by anything I've seen in the last two games.
or bro, तुम भी अपनी जगह सही थे. He was the guy who should have been ready for this at this point. And in a World Cup when your team is not firing, the subs coming in, these changes. Look at Noor Ahmed yesterday. Look at Mohammad Shami with India. The guys who come in वो भी एक अपना energy लाते हैं जो कि बिल्कुल भी नहीं हुआ अभी इस tournament में so far, except for Abdullah Shafiq who's been a revelation.
The theme of what we've talked about has been lack of energy in the field, not looking motivated and up for the fight. Players who are coming in and taking spots, not looking like they're up for the occasion in a World Cup. Doesn't that tell you something about the mood in the camp or the unity in the squad or the way the coaches are helping the team? Because in terms of other teams, like all of this stuff is happening, right? Everyone seems to be like on point, at least fine. England ke lava, like they look like a little bit of a shambles at the moment as well, but everyone else, it seems like things are coming together for them at the right time. All the planning that they've done over the last few years is clicking. Even like a side like Afghanistan, like the players they've backed for their roles and they've identified, it's coming together. But for us, everything's falling apart.
Bro, it's form. It's just form. It's literally just form and performance. Winning changes everything, and losing becomes a habit, man. And then you add to the fact the type of losses you have, a panic sets in. The only thing that's gonna get this back on, like we have 1 foot out of the tournament already. The only thing that can fix it is somebody putting their hand up. Because I refuse to believe that these guys don't have the talent. There are areas in our cricket team that
Yeah,
obviously have flaws, but no, I'm sorry. Someone needs to step up.
I agree. I agree, but the batting is doing okay, right? So I don't think we can fine. Obviously, they could do better the Australia game. Even though the bowlers were horrendous, they conceded 368 runs. Shaheen pulled it back in the end, but the batting still should have won that game. Fine, you can put that one down to them, and they collapsed against India. But if the bowling is just not being able to bowl consistently, conceding boundaries two times and over, bowling short balls, wide balls all over the place, like how are you ever going to be able to build pressure and get that form back? Because form also
But
has a part
then
of cricket.
no,
This guy
bro.
got
Maybe
unlucky
the
today.
Yeah, and they are getting unlucky, bro. But then the batting also needs to grow a little bit more of a pair. How many for 70 years the bowlers have been bailing you out when you guys were substandard? You need to now maybe start giving them 10, 15 extra runs. That I'm sorry, that's what it is. The good teams come
Aman, you think
together.
10 to 15 runs would have mattered in this game? You think 10 to 15
No,
runs would have mattered
I'm
for you?
not. I'm Shayan. I'm not even talking about this game itself. I'm just talking about in general. If you know one thing is lacking, some another part of your team picks it up. In this Afghanistan game, I don't have any problem with what the target was. I'm not blaming the batters at all. But I'm saying you're gonna need inspiration or inspiration because normal cheese se nahi aayegi. Someone has to do something
Acha,
special.
okay, so let's your point is valid that you have to go above and beyond with the batting if your bowling is not performing, right? But everything that we've done in the past 4 years has been to prepare a batting lineup to score par totals. Let's be honest, right? That's been the case. Our planning was batting scores par totals, bowlers defend those overs, and the batting lineup that we have: Abdullah Shafiq, Imam, Babar, Rizwan, Saud Shakil, top five, that is a batting lineup to score par totals. Like, there's not going to be someone like Quinton de Kock who's going to score 150 of 120 balls, or Henrik Klassen coming in towards the end who's completely going to take the game away from anyone. So, in that case, like, what do we have to go on in terms of hope?
You know what my counter is to that? My counter to that is
Mhm.
we've prepared a batting lineup, like you said, to make par totals. Our batting has been doing a par job, but our batting in every match,
Yeah,
except for the India one, has done a par job without somebody actually stepping up and taking advantage of their own form. Wh- You're telling
that's a
me
good point. One thing,
If Babar went from 74, whatever he scored, to 110, you don't think that would have made a difference? You don't think if one of these guys converted their starts, whether if Saud ended up with 60 against Australia, if the Har ended up with with 45, 50 against Australia, Rizwan ended up with an 80, Babar ended up with a 70, Imam converted to 100, you don't think we would have won that game? You're getting your
no,
par
I
scores
agree.
without even playing up to your talent.
That's a really good point. It is something I was thinking about in this game, and it's happened a lot this tournament where batsmen are scoring. There's 50-run partnerships, and they throw their wicket away. Imam ul Haq is like the prime example of that. Like, I don't know what he's contributed so far. Chalo, he had a decent start against Australia. Like SNE chalega, bro. Like, if you carry yourself with that level of belief that you're one of the best in the world, if you're gonna shush the crowd and do all of that stuff that you do in terms of expecting that you're one of the best players in the world, well, play like it.
Play
Show us
like
what
it,
you're about,
boss.
right? Abdullah Shafiq is out here fighting. Mirzwan is trying. Like, fine, he had one game off, but
And
South Shakil
even
again against
Saud,
Afghanistan gets a decent score and doesn't convert. Like, he throws his wicket away,
ha
playing like a
ha
stupid
ha.
shot to a player he should not have taken on because Nabi was an off spinner. He's left-handed. That is not your matchup. You've already gotten a boundary of that over. Where is this thinking? Like, what is the planning? Where are you within your games, right?
And
All of this stuff has to be addressed because, like you said, the batting is scoring par totals, but if they get these things right, they can score a lot more, and that automatically like feeds into the rest of your game. Like you said, like, it's not over. Even if you think that you're not going to be able to come back in this World Cup, you have 4 games left. This is like a tournament that players play like once in their lifetimes for a lot of them. The fact that you guys have the chance to be representing the country and be out there, fight, man. Show
play
us
with some
something.
pride, man.
Like,
Play
show us
with
something
and
that show us that we weren't the idiots who were backing you and expecting you guys to reach semifinals. There's a reason we saw something in you guys, right? So show us what that is.
absolutely. And you talk about a guy like South Shakil, bro. I love when he bats. I love the intent and the fearlessness, and even that matchup point. I don't mind him taking on Nabi, but it's don't get out softly. If you're gonna get out hitting, get out hitting. But he has found ways to get himself out. And against spin again, he is the matchup breaker. I don't mind who he takes on at all. It's just about, bro, you took all of that risk for maybe a double, right? Like I would have, if you reverse swept and got out, or if you swept and got out like Rizwan did, I wouldn't have even minded as
Exactly.
much. Against Australia, bro, I thought that he might take it home that day. The way he was playing, the fearlessness with which he was playing Mitchell Stark and Pat Cummins and these guys, only to then throw it away, heaving across the line like South Shakil. It seems to me like when Spider-Man just got his damn powers and he didn't know what to do with them. Like her ball pe kuch na kuch try karta hai wo. He almost doesn't know how to cool down and go back to what the original version of himself was. And that's what happens with a lot of these guys who learn these modern skills later on. But again, like you just need some of these innings to go. to another level, right? If 70 से काम नहीं चलेगा बेटा, अब दुनिया जाके 120 140 150 मार
No.
रहा है एक बंदा, like the 70s and 30s, they're
Dude,
just not gonna
regardless
cut
of
it.
what the pitch is, if it's a spinning pitch and it's a 240 pitch, or if it's 300 pitch, or if it's 380, you need one of your top four in every single match to score 100. That is how you will win a game. And we are not doing that right now. The one game where we did get hundreds,
Straight
we won
up,
the
man.
game. Like, it's pretty simple math, right?
That's all it is. We haven't scored a single century since then. And look, man, like it's not just about like Pakistan. Forget yesterday. We're not talking about yesterday. The batters did their job yesterday. We scored enough runs yesterday. But enough might not be enough right now. Give your bowlers unka bhi dil thoda sa bada karo that we actually are defending way over par right now. Right? Which I thought was the case yesterday. It turned out not to be. So I mean, it's hard. You don't want to blame the batting too much, but that's your best player is Babar Azam, and you've been saying this, Hux, very correctly for the last few years. That Babar is a batting captain. Think about the batting teams of the past. Whatever, look at some of India's teams when their bowling lineups weren't the best, but their batting picked up the slack. Right? Everything was built around getting things done through their batting. So
Bro,
somebody has to.
the issue. Yeah. But the issue is, like, yes, all of that is true, and I agree. But even when India's bowling lineup was not too good, they could at least land the ball in the right place. यार अभी तो इनसे ये भी नहीं हो रहा, तो हम कहाँ से ठीक करेंगे यार,
हाँ
कहाँ से
ब्रो,
इनको ये
समटाइम्स,
करेंगे?
लेकिन मतलब वो भी इन्हीं पिचेस पे मार खाते थे, ऐसी बात नहीं है, लाइक मार तो सारे ही खाते हैं, बट लाइक अगेन, लाइक they had that machine with like Dhawan, Rohit and Kohli where it didn't matter what they conceded, there was a chance, and everything for India was like, I remember a certain series, it was just like, bro, just don't 400 नहीं खाओ, आपके बैट्समैन बना लेंगे, like you're gonna need like I enough of this number one rank, number seven rank, Leo strength pay, bro. Go and score runs. Go and score runs, bro. Someone's gonna have to go and bro, dare so maro, bro. Yeah, you're gonna be sitting at home saying, "Ye banda to bilkul hi, he's lost it. He's asking for 150." But boss, that is what it takes at time. Quinton de Kock hit 180 or something today. That is what it's gonna take. These are flat wickets. These, if hand on heart, bro, have we taken advantage of how flat these wickets are? Our top three, they haven't.
No,
They haven't.
absolutely not. चलो एटलीस्ट छक्का तो मार लिया पावर प्ले में, एटलीस्ट थोड़ी जान मिले उससे. नहीं तो दैट स्टैट वाज आल्सो पिसिंग मी ऑफ मैन. एवरी और खुदा के वास्ते कोई इमामुल हक को शॉर्ट बॉल खिलाना सिखा दो यार. लाइक मतलब मिकी आर्थर तू ही जाके कुछ कर ले यार. फायदा क्या है तुम्हारा टीम में होने का?
मिकी आर्टर यार, तुम लैपटॉप पे जाके तुम कोचिंग ही कर रहे थे ब्रो, उसको क्लिप भी दिखा दो लैपटॉप पे ब्रो के वो किस तरह आउट हो रहा है बार बार. इट्स सच अ पैटर्न डिसमिसल एट दिस पॉइंट. कोई अभी मुझे लग रहा है कोई 120 पे भी आके उसको टप्पा करा लेना, वो आउट हो जाएगा वैसे ही.
Me and you could go out and both short ball time right now.
That's
Wow, to jata us. What are we saying moving forward then? I know this episode's been quite chaotic, but it was always going to be a chaotic reaction to a chaotic.
We made the mistake of starting this podcast as our second conversation of the day. Like all of y'all at home, like we before this episode started, we were on the phone half an hour before screaming at each other. So you missed out on a little bit of that. But me and Hux were debating if this team can go forward, how they can go forward, and what needs to happen. So is you any hope from you, bro, going forward? What do you one game at a time? How do you
Well,
approach this?
dude, look, it's Pakistan cricket. Like we always have to have hope. But if you're asking me, based on what I've seen with my own two eyes, I am pretty pessimistic right now. Because look, I know what you said about the batting. I think we're going to continue to bat par. Maybe we'll make 340, 350 in a couple of games. But bro, bowling, say, I thought by now, like I initially we were coming into this World Cup, there were concerns, right? Shadab's form was off, Hassan Ali was coming in, Asia Cup hadn't gone that well. But I thought, okay, all that stuff would fix itself. But it's been 5 games and I haven't seen any sign of any of that. So again, I can only judge what I've been seeing with my own two eyes. Yes, in the past, we lost to Zimbabwe in the T20 World Cup last year, and it became that whole if but. And okay, if this team does that, if that team does that, and we always end up here, no matter how we're performing, no matter how good or bad our team is, we end up in the same situation every time. But at least that time, there was a lot to back in the team. Like players were on form. They had a couple of off days. That India game was close that we lost narrowly, and then Zimbabwe game as well. Just weren't able to get over the line. But right now, I haven't seen anything that says that we'll get back into this. What about you?
That I mean, yeah. लाइक लाइक्लीहुड पे तो बिल्कुल भी चांस नहीं लग रहा है, लेकिन पाकिस्तान लाइक्लीहुड पे चला कब ये भी मुझे बता दो. आई एम नॉट, ऑफ कोर्स आई एम द फैन एंड वी होप्स दे विन द नेक्स्ट फोर गेम्स, but man, they need to just, they need to fix something. And again, like we talk about that T20 World Cup last year, we were genuinely eliminated from it. It took Netherlands beating South Africa, and then South Africa also having a rained out game. So like abhi bhi kuch nahi bigra. You are technically still in it. Your results are still in your own hands. You're not really begging for a certain team to lose. Of course, it would help, but if you can get to 6 wins somehow, like you still have it in your hands, and it's not about getting those four remaining wins
But
at once. You have to go game by game. And again, Hugs, I'm telling you, like what this all this team needs to worry about is who's gonna produce that one spell, who's gonna take a one-handed catch, who's gonna get a dead eye run out, who's gonna hit 150 run. Like these, this is the only thing that's gonna change it right now. You need somebody to inspire the rest of the team, and it's a long shot, but the question is how can we move forward, and that is how you're gonna move forward. That is the way.
absolutely, and we need, bro, like we need the body language to change. Honestly, if you go out and lose these games, it's obviously we're still going to be here criticizing them because there's going to be reasons that they lost, and we're here expecting our team to perform well in the World Cup and actually reach the semifinals at the very least. So we're always going to criticize the team when it loses, but when you lose in the way they've done with no fight, and the body language looking absolutely dead, like at least bro, change that. Yeah, come out and at least fight against South Africa. Show us what you're about. Show the world what you're about. Like, because you're a laughing stock right now. And if that doesn't motivate you to come back, I don't know what will. When Babar honestly seemed like a very lonely figure. He got a very lonely figure on the field that day. And that's not what you like to see in bad moments, because as a team, you have to win together and lose together. Right now, we look like 11 individuals, not a team. And at least at the bare minimum, change that and fix that for me. The rest will take care of itself.
That's all. And bro, again, I'm putting it on him. Like he played well in the last game. He's I always value innings where people are playing scratchily and they grind it out, which is what he did. But sir, that's right now it's not enough. You need to become the mythical figure that was Babar Azam in these other guys' eyes again. And that's initially what made this team. This team walked around with the swag that they had until a month ago, because they had Babar Azam. And I think a lot of he raised the level and belief for a lot of these guys. Yes, mashallah, it's a very, very talented team, but you need someone to kind of show you that it's possible, despite the fact that we don't have resources and we don't get to play IPL, and that we don't always have the same privileges that some of the other cricketing teams have. We do have the talent, and I think a lot of that started from this guy becoming a top class player. So us getting out of this, again, like you talk about the 92 team, you talk about the character of Imran Khan, it has to be done through Babar Azam, and he's really gonna have to show his true caliber as a player. You don't have to be Kohli, you don't have to be Kane Williamson. We just want you to be Babar again. We want you to come out with that same mindset you had. You are that you are not. He's not a fraud. He's as talented as he is. He has the name he does because of how much he's performed. Forget about everything else and go literally dominate, express yourself. Even if we lose, it's fine. But a World Cup deserves to see the best of a player like Babar Azam, and that's what we're praying for at this point.
You said we want our Babar Azam back. I want my Pakistan team back because they're not playing the team that I know and love. And I know everyone will say, okay, but this is the identity of the Pakistan cricket team to let you down in these moments and stuff. These guys are better than that. So show me that you're better.
Show us, bro. Make us believe again, man. Straight up. Saqlain Mushtaq's not there. I don't know who's gonna give these speeches of Qudrat ka Nizam and all of these types of things, but things need to change. Hux, if Babar Azam comes out to the toss with the corner tiger t-shirt, but then Pakistan lose the game, what are you gonna do? Allah na kare.
Like
Yahi
that's
bacha.
the only thing that's left right now. So might as well. The world will get another meme. So give it to them.
You gotta do something, man. It's gotta have the same proverbial effect of the corner tigers t-shirt, even if it isn't the shirt itself. लेकिन कुछ ना
And to
कुछ
just
करो
end,
ब्रो. अभी तुम्हारी बैटिंग से तो वो पैंथर टायर वाला ऐड चल रहा है. मुझे पैंथर टायर ऐड तुम्हारे आउट होने के बाद नहीं देखना है अब यार. तुम 100 मार दो प्लीज. I don't. He gets out of. That's the next thing they show, bro. These guys are cynics. I don't understand. But I'm sick of that ad now. It's really time for him to step up now.
I think the only way to stop like crying is to laugh, and I think that that's what the last few minutes have been like. Because yeah, it has been depressing, frustrating, angry a couple of days, or not a couple of days, but it has been a absolute shit show the last week. I know we ended up with a little bit of looking ahead and what we can do, and hopefully they're able to take that on board and bounce back. Because yeah, if you keep playing like this, like you're not, I hate to say words like this, but if you come out with this attitude, you're not worthy of the
हाँ
shirt you're
हाँ
wearing. So at least change that. That's all I ask.
हाँ हाँ इसी
Performances
तरह से तो
baad ki baat hai.
straight up bro if you can't bring this right attitude then I'm sorry back to dressing room bro यही scene हो
I think on that we'll call it. We appreciate everyone who's been listening to us. Please subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Instagram and Spotify, and yeah, keep leaving your comments and feedback. We do appreciate it and appreciate all of you listening to. This has been another episode of Not That Important, and we'll see you all soon.